Today we dedicate a memorial to the 5 Chatham men who lost their lives in World War I. Why do we commemorate such a tragic episode in our history? Scholars agree that World War I was not a war to end all wars or a war that made the world safe for democracy. In fact, many of our international problems today have their roots in World War I. The world saw what the Industrial Revolution had made possible in war: devastating artillery, chemical weapons, aerial warfare. 16 million died. 5 million were buried in unmarked graves. Millions of minorities were brutally relocated and killed. The carnage was horrifying. But perhaps that is exactly why we remember these events. According to author J. Winter of Yale, we mark the event with the shock and horror it deserves, and remember those who served in these gruesome battles fighting for freedom. 100 years ago, 135 Chathamites, including 2 women, left their comfortable lives and went to war in Europe. Some enlisted, some were drafted, and 5 did not return. Lieutenant Eugene P. Hubbard was the first killed in action. He was cited for his bravery for repeatedly exposing himself to enemy artillery fire in the performance of his duties. He was killed while directing the removal of the bodies of 3 of his men. He was 22 years old when he died in France. He had graduated from Chatham High and Middlebury College. Sergeant Van Horn de Wolf was 26 years old when he died of pneumonia after having been severely wounded by a gas shell explosion that killed all of his men. Van Horn attended Chatham schools and the University of Pennsylvania, where he had graduated with a degree in architecture. He had worked for an architectural firm in New York before he enlisted. His father was the local doctor with his office at the corner of South Passaic and Main Streets. Private Paul Van Fleet was 24 years old and was engaged to be married to Gladys Butterworth of Summit. He was a motorman on the Morris County Traction Company trolleys. He was killed in the trenches trying to repair a vital communications wire that was damaged. He was the son of a decorated Civil War veteran. Private Fred Reinhold Pillman was a member of the first graduating class of Chatham High School in 1911. He was proficient in his studies as well as the captain of the football and baseball teams. He attended Middlebury College and graduated from Pratt Institute of Technology in 1916. He was working as a chemical engineer when he was drafted. After his parents received a telegram their son had been killed in action, they received letters from him indicating he was injured but doing well. It took months to clarify he was dead, but the full details of his death were never found. He was 25. And Private Frederick Percy Parcells was the last Chatham man killed in the war. At home, he was a fireman, but during the war, he was a communications expert. At the front line, he was hit by heavy fire, but continued keeping the communications running. He was then injured by a shell blast and died the next day at the age of 23. These young men gave their lives for our country. They could easily be forgotten. It is up to each generation to acknowledge the sacrifice that is made in war, to reflect on the preciousness of human life, and to work toward a peaceful and accepting world. Thank you.